Avowed features a literal ton of unique weapons and armor, each with their own passive buffs that you can weave into a desired playstyle. However, unless you know where to look, it's possible you'll miss the best gear for your build. My name is Kodiak, this is Legacy Gaming, and today I'm sharing some of the best early game unique weapons, armors, and accessories for Rangers. My goal today is to point you towards as many early game unique items as I can, focusing on ones that provide the best value for players that want to build a Ranger. Of course, if you haven't already done so, we have videos out there for the Warrior and Wizard legendaries as well, but to round out the series, we need to cover all three builds. All of the items in this video, minus one, can be found or purchased in Dawnshore, the first major zone, and will set you up for success as you enter into the later parts of the game. Each of these items are a building block, and some of the gear would even work well across multiple builds. It really all depends on your playstyle. That being said, for the sake of clarity, I'm gonna keep this simple. Ranger builds in Avowed can actually flex a few different ways, mainly because their ability tree has a bit more latitude than the Warrior and the Wizard trees. For that reason, we're gonna start with Sheathed in Summer, a dagger and one of the better early one-handed weapons. To obtain this unique weapon, you'll want to pick up the bounty Octave, the Firebrand in Paradise. He's an elite enemy located northwest of the city in a place called the Godless Ruins, and be warned, he is not easy to deal with because he's surrounded by other lesser enemies. They will swarm you, and if your gear is not up to snuff, they'll easily put you down. However, if you manage to defeat him, you'll be able to loot the weapon. Sheathed in Summer has two unique effects. First is an enchantment, Glimmering Embers, which deals moderate fire accumulation when you do a full combo attack. Second is the passive effect Burning Lash, which grants you a 10% fire damage bonus with every hit. Remember, every unique weapon has an enchantment which you can augment back at camp, choosing between one of two options to further augment its power. Remember, this choice is permanent, so be sure of your selection. The second weapon worth picking up is Caeroc's Pride, a pistol that pairs well with the dagger you just obtained. This ranged weapon drops off tempestuous Luandi, another bounty target found to the southeast of Paradise. Again, remember to pick up the quest in the city. I actually found this bounty to be easier than Octave, mainly because there are fewer enemies surrounding the elite. Dispatch of the target and claim the unique weapon on her corpse. Caeroc's Pride is a one-handed pistol that has two unique effects. First is the enchantment Distant Thunder. This grants the weapon's power or held attack higher shock accumulation. Second is the passive effect Shocking Lash, which grants you a 10% shock damage bonus with every hit. Sheathed in Summer and Caeroc's Pride don't have natural synergy, but they're still powerful in combination, and as you push deeper into the game, you can easily build around one or the other. Sticking with guns for a second, you can actually buy a pistol in Northern Paradise to pair with Caeroc's Pride, if you want to go for a dual pistols build. The vendor we're looking for is a man named Sheathed Cuddy Cullen, located here in Northern Paradise. I'm not sure if there are any prerequisites for him setting up his shop since I found him later in the game, but I'm rather confident he'll be there as soon as you have access to this part of the city. You can purchase the Disappointer from him outright, and before you judge a book by its cover, there's something you ought to know. The Disappointer has two unique effects. Its enchantment is called Terrible, which reduces its attack damage by 10%. More on that in a second. Its passive effect is Bleeding Lash, which grants 10% bleed damage with every hit. As I mentioned before, unique weapons can be enchanted back at camp, and in the case of the Disappointer, that Terrible effect is merely a setback, as both enchantments that you can make to the Disappointer make the weapon far superior. So remember that next time you write off a weapon without thinking it all the way through. Finally, what would a Ranger be without a solid bow to wield? In this case, we're going to purchase the Long Touch from a vendor also found in Northern Paradise. This vendor is actually on the opposite end of the zone in the militia headquarters. Talk to her and you'll be able to purchase this unique weapon, if you can afford it, of course. The Long Touch might end up being the best bow in the game because it's got two really solid unique effects. First is its enchantment, Grim Focus, giving your power attacks a plus 10% crit hit chance while aiming. Second is the passive effect, Lesser Opening Strike, which gives you plus 5% damage against enemies with full health. This is an absolute beast of a weapon if you can upgrade it and like to play the stealth game, opening with an undetected headshot, but even outside of that, it's still incredibly powerful. If you're going to play a ranger in Avowed, you need to look the part, but it's even better if the armor and accessories you're rocking have benefits that match your playstyle. The first thing we're going to want to track down is the Blackwing set, the perfect armor for any ranger, whether you're stealth focused or not. It's entirely possible that you'll miss out on the main piece, the Blackwing armor, which you can only get by fighting and defeating Yeagwolf during the Untimely End main quest. There is a passive outcome to this quest, but if you go that route, you won't be able to get this main armor, at least as far as I know. There's no secret location for this item, just progress through the quest as normal and choose any of the attack options when confronting him to trigger the engagement. Once defeated, you can claim the armor, which has two passive effects. First is ambushing, which increases stealth attack damage by 30%. Second is Creeper, which grants you plus 25% move speed while crouched. The second item in the set, the Blackwing boots, can be found from the vendor Curdhead Cuddy Cullen in Northern Paradise. You might not have noticed these, as he also sells that awesome pistol, the Disappointer, but you can also purchase the Blackwing boots for relatively cheap. These have two unique effects, both perfect for a ranger build. First is an item bonus that grants plus 10% dodge distance. Second is Quick, which increases your dexterity by 1. The final item in the set, the Blackwing gloves, can also be found during the Untimely End main quest, albeit earlier in the chain. During the part of the quest where you investigate the scene of the crime, you'll head to a balcony of a tall stone building. There you can advance the quest, but also if you keep looking, you'll find a chest which contains the unique gloves we're after. The Blackwing gloves are once again tailor-made for a ranger build, providing two unique effects. First is an item bonus which increases our crit hit chance by 1%. Second is the passive effect Lesser Annihilation, which increases crit damage by 10%. To build out our impressive set of armor, we'll also need some good accessories, and there are a couple decent options early on. First is Delver's Caution, a ring that you get as a reward for completing the side quest Dawn Treader. This is actually one of my favorite early game quests, as it offers a little bit of everything from dungeon diving to a boss fight, a legendary sword, and really everything in between. It's good fun, and you can pick up the quest here in Paradise from Offric before heading to Pilgrim's Path to start your adventure. Delver's Caution is a solid ranger-oriented ring with two unique effects. First is a plus 1 to dexterity, and second is plus 15% to your parkour speed. Another ring I personally think is worth picking up for any build is the Ring of Slow Essence, which is a great early staple since it's the only gear that allows for constant regeneration of essence. Fun fact, every spec requires essence, so you can't really ignore the resource. Some builds just demand its use more than others. To find the ring, you'll want to start at the Western Pergrunen Wall Beacon. From here, head east across the river and follow the scaffolding up. Turn left once you run into the walls of Paradise, and you'll see an opening that you can vault through. Inside, you'll find a statue with a pipe leading out of it from the bottom. That's a surefire way to know there's a secret room nearby, and sure enough, if you press the button in the statue's lantern, a secret door will reveal itself. The Ring of Slow Essence only has one unique effect, Suspicions Confirmed, allowing you to slowly regenerate your essence passively. To wrap things up, I did want to offer you one more ring that you can obtain relatively early on in the Emerald Stair, the second zone. This is the perfect accessory to pair with some of the other gear we've outlined for a ranger build, and I thought it was worth mentioning. To get the Ring of Pain Amplification, you need to complete the quest Nature vs. Nurture, which you can start by heading east from the Farmer's Market fast travel point. There you'll find two farmers that require your help dealing with some Zarups, a concept you should be familiar with at this point. If you choose the violent approach, this quest can be a bit challenging as there are a lot of Zarups at the camp you need to clear, but either way, get it done and you'll be rewarded with the unique item. The Ring of Pain Amplification has one unique effect, increasing your crit damage by a flat 15%. So there you have it, incredible unique items that every Avowed Ranger can pick up early. If this guide helped you at all and you want more videos like this in your feed, hit that thumbs up and consider subscribing. We'll have more Avowed videos coming your way, so don't miss out. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.